Okay. Now, now I'd like to talk about what I call the meat and potatoes of the script. The middle of the script. It's spilling the beans. It's letting them in on what the hell you want, what you're talking about, what's going on. And this part has to do a lot with your product, your service, and if it's sort of schmucky, this part won't work. This part has to be really good products, good services. Let me give you an example. The company that I worked for 14 years, they had a product that almost no company had, but every company was interested in looking at. Basically what it was a time clock that employees punched in, but it did a couple of things that were very nifty at the time. Number one, it added up the hours automatically. This was something new at the time. This was 1990. Most people never heard of such a thing. Because most time clocks, you took a time card, you punched the clock, you put it in the thing, and then at the end of the week, an old lady with blue hair named Edna would come around and take all the cards and sit down for hours on end, pulling out her hair, going, oh God, let's see, Eddie King worked 32 hours, but he's not supposed to get overtime until the 4th, so that means the 5th hour goes back to the... It's all very messy. So these clocks came along, and they were programmed, computerized. So it ended up the hours automatically, which was great. The second thing it did was it didn't use a time card. Instead, it used an employee's hand. So an employee would walk up to the clock, put their hand on the clock would know who they are from their hand. Interesting. And then the third thing it did is once it calculated everything correctly, the payroll person literally pushed a button and all the information went to the payroll service. So this was a big deal. And so when I started with this job, I was yes. So when I started with this job, I was really pumped up, pepped up about the whole thing. And so my meat and potatoes went like this. Let's see if I can remember. It's been a long time since I did the script. I'll give you an exact how long it's been. It's been 13 years. Let me see if I could whip it out. Jim Stone. Jim, my name is Bernie Friend, and I'm calling with ATC in Glen Head, Long Island. Let me get right to the point. We're distributors of time clocks that automatically add up employees' hours accurately, and there are no time cards. An employee simply approaches the clock, places their hand on top of the clock for a second. The clock knows where they are from their hand. So now employees can't say to you, I lost my hand, I forgot my hand, or somebody stole my hand. And no one could punch each other in and out for one another. And so the reason why I'm calling is Stephanie Tokar, our top representative, is going to be in Great Neck next Thursday. She would love nothing more to come by without any obligation, just to show you the clock in person and see if it's a proper fit for you. Well, that sounds good. So that was basically the pitch. If you want to know what happened, I worked there 14 years, and after 14 years, everyone had one. So I quit because there was nowhere else to go. And I'm always looking for something new, something cutting edge, robotics, stuff like that. These days, I'm working, for the last 12 years, I worked for several different business brokers. And here are the meat and potatoes of what I say these days. So this is once I get the proper contact on the phone, and I go, boom, and so it's like this. Jim Stone. Jim, my name is Bernie, and my boss wanted me to call you. He's a big shot business broker in Florida. And he said if you sold your business in a year or less, that in his words, he could make you a small fortune. And he's looking for intelligent business owners. He's looking for owners that are one of two things. Either A, you consider yourself an entrepreneur, always looking for the next big thing, not married to your business. Or B, you truly want to retire and live your life out in dignity. And so I'm wondering, if the price was right, would you even consider selling your business in the next year? Okay, so those are two different examples I just gave you of the meat and potatoes. One was with the time clocks, another is with the business broker. It's the middle part, it's the no nonsense. Here's what I have to say. Okay, so there's your pitch, there's your meat and potatoes. When I come back, I am going to do qualifying.